are you feeling in your business at the moment? And this is really kind of an exciting time. We are coming out of this pandemic. We are moving forward. The energy is moving forward. People are moving forwards, pretty much on every country. And, those big blockage that's been during the last few months have been not just physical, but emotional, mental. And this is a big thing really when you're running a business, everything works together. And so today, to talk a little bit about energy, I have Laura Vida. Hello, Laura. How are you?
Hi, Claire. I'm doing wonderful. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to talk with you and everybody today.
Thank you very much. It was lovely. So, Laura, just tell us, so you live on a little island, I think even smaller than my island. Tell us a little bit about where you are based.
Right. So I've been living in Sedona, Arizona for about 20 years.
Wow.
Sedona's red rock country. It's the metaphysical capital of, for sure, this country.
Wow.
It's where people come to kind of deepen in their spirituality, get connected to nature and beauty and all of these things. So I've been here for the past 20 years and originally from upstate New York.
Right. And so how did you get into Feng Shui? That's kind of, my one of my first questions I'm asking everybody, because we all seem to be bumping into it, that
Right.
synchronicity kind of thing.
Right. I'd have to say that the roots of Feng Shui, or at least geomancy, go really deep for me. I'm a child of the 1970s homesteading movement, which was something that happened here in the U.S. where people decided that they wanted to live in harmony with nature, live simply so others can simply live. And this is something that my parents did, and they took us out of the city to 55 acres of land in the middle of the woods. And we cut down the trees and skinned them and built a log cabin and, had a dowser come to find water, so we knew where to drill for the well, and just, completely lived in harmony with nature.
Wow.
So that's really where it started. I just became very aware of how, our environments affect us. And it was in 1992 that I just, sounds crazy, it's a long time ago, but it's when I discovered, there's this thing called Feng Shui that looks at how spaces make us feel and how, the land helps us, decide where to build our homes and how we can, live in a more harmonious way. It just kind of really, was already part of my mindset. So it really went hand in hand. And at that time, there wasn't any classes, there wasn't anything. And there was one book, which I found by Stephen Post. I don't even know if he's still teaching, but he started the Geomancy Feng Shui Educational Organization with Barry Gordon and Ron Chin. So the three of them were the first Westerners to bring the teachings to Black Hat teachings to the U.S. And then they started a school at the New York Open Center, a 3-year, certification program. So I joined that, studied with them, and then moved on to studying with Jess Lim, and he's Compass School, Chi Mag International, dynamic guy, and and then got into interior design and real estate, everything having to do with homes. I've been in thousands and thousands of homes. Yeah.
Okay. It's really interesting, Laura, because as you were talking about your childhood, I just felt a chill behind me. My whole energy just felt your energy as you were talking about this. It's just incredible, isn't it? When, we are miles and miles away from each other, and that's it. Even through that little lens, who's looking at us, we can still feel that energy. And this is quite incredible. How is that possible?
Yeah, exactly. I think that whenever we have those feelings, recognition or synchronicity or chills, the chills are usually a confirmation of something that was said was true, and it relates to you as well. You know, it's personal. And I think that I feel like there's that there's another, I don't know, a renaissance of this whole idea of, and maybe caused by, COVID, of wanting to live more in harmony with nature, to live in a way that just isn't all about, pushing forward, but that COVID gave us a chance to really, get deeper within ourselves, to make some decisions on what's really important in our lives. And I see this with young people, coming up, they want to live that way. And, having been grown up that way, I can, say it's it's hard. It's hard work. Really, it's really hard work.
Yeah, I totally get what you're saying. We've got the millenniums who are kind of coming up, and they want something more natural, more true, more authentic. And then I guess you've got that our age kind of things, which actually also are coming to that stage where you're starting asking all those questions, where you may have lost your business, you may have lost everything, you got made redundant and whatever. And suddenly you are reevaluating what life is all about, and I think that's a big important. I know it's a huge question, isn't it, when you're really kind of deep in that hole where you've lost everything. I mean, I lost everything in 3 days last year, Laura.
Wow.
All my clients gone, everything.
Wow.
And I just remember that feeling of complete desperation, and for somebody to come around and say, it's going to be okay, Claire, and you're like, what? And when you're in those moments, it's really, really hard to kind of get over it, isn't it? But those are the times where you really kind of pause and actually think, what is important to us, isn't it?
Totally. Absolutely. Yeah. I think that's the gift of what has and is still coming out of this whole time, for so many people around the world, is just that reevaluation of what's really important. Where do I really want to invest my time and energy, and what's most fulfilling to me?
Yeah, absolutely. And so, when we talk about also, so there's that, I mean, that real kind of that energy that is around us, so that kind of physical energy, but there's also like an internal energy, isn't it? And I think a lot of the time, and I know I've done it, I still do it from time to time. You get into that where you're questioning yourself, is that the right thing to do? How am I going to, why am I not making as much money? And why is this not coming to me? And, and what's all this behind that kind of really kind of blocks us to move forward?
Yeah, that's a great question. And that is a question that I asked myself. It just kept coming up during my studies of, because I've been practicing for such a long time now, I've been able to see the cycles, and see people again and see where they are in their life.
Right.
And I started to notice that, okay, Feng Shui, without a doubt, we are affected by our environment. We shift our environment. It affects how we see our lives, which then, actually affects our lives. But I also saw repetitive patterns coming up. So where I had worked with somebody, to, increase their wealth or to find a relationship. Okay, it happened. They got the job. They found the relationship, but then I would see them a few years later and they're in the same situation again, where the relationship didn't work out, or the job was just as, draining as the last one. So I had to start asking myself, okay, what's going on? Because I know that Feng Shui works. I see it work, but why are they in the same position again? Which then led me to, the psychology, to look at limiting beliefs and stories. So I went back to school and I got a master's degree in spiritual psychology. So I really had the tools to help people unravel those stories, because, this is how I see it. This is my Feng Shui lens, is that right, we all have a different one, exactly. But our environment, right?
Yes.
Our environment mirrors our consciousness.
Right.
So, and it mirrors the unconscious beliefs and stories and things that, how we see the world, how we feel about ourselves. It's just mirrored on the wall. So if we only address the exterior, it's just, I feel like it's like kind of the tip of the iceberg. It's one part of it. But if we can look inside and go, oh, okay, geez, when I was growing up, the messages I heard from my family, my parents would always say, well, it takes money to make money. So
Right.
as a kid, I went, it takes money to make money. Well, then I guess I can never make money because I don't have money. It's like, what? It doesn't even make sense.
No.
Right? So, there's these kind of beliefs, or, a lot of people got the message that, money isn't spiritual, or people that have money are greedy or evil or all kinds of things. So it's really when you can identify that and clear it, clear those beliefs, and then go into the wealth area of your home and anchor these clear new beliefs in your home is really powerful. That's, really where it's like, oh, wow. Okay. Boy, things really start jumping. So yeah, that's my lens. It's kind of doing the inside work to then anchor it in your space.
Yeah, it is really, and even though it, and you're doing the things, and there's still that moment where you question it, and then then you turn it back, you're reframing it. So what kind of tools would you have, or what kind of things would you say that you could be giving to people to actually unlock that, or reframe that, or don't go into that hole? Because that's the thing, is that rabbit hole, isn't it? You start one thinking, and then it goes into the next one, and then you start the feeling inside and all that kind of thing.
Right, exactly. So, that can feel overwhelming to people.
Right.
As even just Feng Shui can feel overwhelming to people. I think that's why people stay away from things like counseling or Feng Shui, because they feel like it's overwhelming. They don't know where to start. So what I like to do when I'm working with people is I'll ask them, what's up for you right now? Like, what area of your life is calling for your attention the most? And then we just work on that. We find it in the home. We map the home, right? We find where that area is, and we just work on that one area. Because, it's kind of like if you're trying to, let's say you're trying to, heal your gut. That's a very popular thing right now. Okay. Heal your gut, so you're processing food and everything else much better. So you take this journey to heal your gut. And what happens? Oh, your skin starts looking better. Your hair starts growing thicker. You start to lose weight. You attract that relationship. So everything has its layers. So if you just start with the one that's calling for you the most important thing, and just address that area in your home and look at what those beliefs you have around, money, or your visibility, or, relationships, I help people kind of identify what that is. And then it's just an easy process of resetting it, because once you go, oh, I know where that came from. That came from when my parents used to say, da, 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 or something that you saw as a kid that lodged in your consciousness that you're still playing out, but you don't even realize it.
Yeah,
I just ask questions.
It's that real anchor, isn't it? So I'm an NLP practitioner, so I use the NLP techniques within as well, and that's that moment when you're asking those questions, and it just seems like a silly question, and suddenly did you go, oh wow!
Exactly. Exactly. It's not like we're trying to dig up your whole childhood and everything that happened to you. We're really pinpointing, just like, the way what I'm doing with Feng Shui, and I'm just pinpointing that area. Let's just pinpoint what is that story? What's that message? Okay. Oh, it was this, how old were you when that happened? Oh, geez, I think I saw that when I was like 8 or 9 years old. Okay. Let's reframe it.
Yeah.
and then we reframe it, and then we anchor it.
Right.
So, it's not like they need to be in counseling for years, because we're not doing that. We're just identifying, clearing, and then
Yeah.
anchoring.
Yeah. And I think that's what's happening as well a lot now that we've all sort of connected each other with, with Clubhouse and everything. We've all started to kind of get to know each other. And it was just amazing how in the last group, actually, because I created my own kind of business Feng Shui kind of model thing in bringing those modality that, and I thought, well, I can bring this, and then that makes sense, and then I'll put that together, and then I'll put that together, and that's my little thing. And then I thought, perhaps I'm doing the wrong way, perhaps I shouldn't be doing that. And then listening to everybody else is doing the same thing, isn't it? Because it's just not one layer of the material that you're just changing something, and then it's just gonna go
Exactly.
nice and flowery, isn't it?
Exactly. Isn't that true? Because, Feng Shui itself is a moving target, right? If we even look at our homes, our own lives, I'm constantly reevaluating and reactivating areas of my home. Mm-hmm. And things are happening, right? Like right now, as we speak, my landscaper is in the backyard because my water feature is leaking. So, and it's in my wealth area. So I can't do that, right? So your house starts to go, okay, we need some attention here. So he's out there fixing it. We found where the leak is. He's catching it now. So, I think, and I was telling you earlier that I just activated my fame, recognition, visibility, reputation area a couple of weeks ago. And then it was just like, everything just, whoa, like blew up around Feng Shui. So, depending on what's up for you, what's going on in your life, for me, I'll start, oh, geez, everything's perfect in my home now, but I'd like to activate something, or I'm working, like right now I'm writing a book. Okay, so the knowledge, judgment, self-cultivation area, I can focus there and kind of stimulate that area so that I can really go deep and focus while I'm writing. Mm-hmm. So I think it's the way we use Feng Shui evolves. Yes. And the way, I think, Feng Shui ultimately is about nature, right? That's its roots, is living in harmony with nature. And nature has cycles and evolves. So it makes sense that we all kind of have the things, we bring our own personal skills to Feng Shui to see, the best way to work with people based on what our gifts are, right?
So Laura, you said you activated your fame and reputations. So if somebody, wanted to, so what does activate mean? What do you suggest? So like we're talking about business and that kind of thing. So we're probably looking at maybe career area, or fame and reputation as well. They kind of work hand in hand, don't they, those two?
They do. Yes. So I think, so in my home, so the fame and recognition area, is my husband's office, but he took it. Okay. So here's the whole story. Okay. So he took a government contract job on the East Coast. So he's there for probably the next year and a half. So his office, which is not Feng Shui'd, right? Because our partners don't always listen to us, do they? So he's not there. So I left it like that for a while. And then I thought, that's my fame and recognition area. And I've got the door closed and it's dark in there. And it's got, funky heavy metal poster things on the wall. Like I can't have that. So I took it all down, and, I brought in, I'm also an artist and a painter. So I brought in some of my paintings that had, reds and purples. I changed it completely. And then I have this like crazy, super activating, it's a fabric, kind of like an embroidered antique wall hanging of these three Chinese men. They're the three, I don't know who they are. They're these three guys that every time I pulled them out and hung them up, like something crazy happens. I don't know who these guys are. I know they're somebody important in Feng Shui, but I don't know. The tapestry is really old. So I hung them up in there. And then, I stood in the room and I grounded myself. And then I visualized, I visualized two ways. One is, the energy, the chi coming in through the front door, through my home, to the fame and recognition area that I was in, and just filling that whole room with light. Okay, so I see it chi-wise. And then I also see what that looks like, making connections with people, being seen, having opportunities to support in my life, and having people feel good about their connection with me. So I'm seeing what this looks like specifically. And then I still do 3 reinforcement. I use the Om Padme Hum, 9 times. Done. And then, then that's it. And then, then things just started rolling. Yeah.
I love it. I've got the chill just listening to you doing this. I was in there with you.
Maybe we just activated yours too.
Oh, I know. And I think that's the thing as well. It is everything is about our intentions, isn't it? It's where
So much so.
attention goes. What do you call it? Where attention goes, energy flows, right? And
Yeah. I say where your eye goes, the chi flows.
right. So that's kind of yes. So let's remember that we need to kind of be very intentional. Whatever you do, whatever you move, whatever you add, just to make sure that you're doing it for the right reason and bringing that energy with the right reason. There's another energy that we haven't really quite talked about, which is the shashi, really. We have got quite a bit of shashi, and I know you're a bit of a fan of of EMF. So how do you actually reduce that kind of the radiation? So electronic magnetic field or radiation.
Electromagnetic field radiation.
Yeah, it's a hard word to say for a French girl.
Yes, I think that electromagnetic fields are, they're really tricky. It's so interesting because there's a lot of information on how to mitigate EMFs. And I believe that the human, not just consciousness, but our whole structure is also evolving. So remember like when cell phones first came out in the 80s? Well, no, 90s, right? Or late 80s, probably early 90s.
Yeah.
And we all thought we were going to get brain cancer. Like that was the first thing that came out, is like, oh, it's going to fry your head. It's going to fry your head. Well, okay, it hasn't actually. But, I suspect that in one sense, human beings are evolving to be able to deal with these kind of things. But the amount of them coming at us now is so much greater that I also feel like we need help, just to mitigate, just to get regrounded, just to disperse the static electricity that builds up. Like I know if I'm holding my cell phone for too long, I feel it in my hands, or on my computer, I feel it. My hand starts to get a little funny feeling. What I do, I'm a huge fan of earthing. I mean, obviously, based on my story. So when we put our body on the earth, it discharges that static electricity that builds up from being on our computers and on our screens. So that, 15 minutes minimum a day. And if I can do it here in the rocks, you can do it in your grassy backyard. And I also, I sleep on an earthing mat. There's all kinds of tools. Earthing.com has all kinds of tools and all kinds of information about how sleeping grounded or working grounded. I have an earthing mat under my feet when I'm on the computer, how it helps lower inflammation, so many positive things. And it's really an accumulative effect. So the more you're in contact with the earth, the more you're grounded, the better you feel over time. Simple things too, like I turn off my internet every night. It's simple. It's just, it's just a flick of the switch. It's nothing. I just turn it off. I turn off the TV and then I go and turn off the internet and then I go to bed. So yeah, those are, and then I have the focused life force energy on my home. I think I told you about that, Claire, the FLFE.
Tell us about it.
Okay, it's focused life force energy,
Right.
FLFE.
Yes.
And it's very interesting. It uses, sometimes I just go with like my gut of what I feel. And I looked at this information and I went, I'm going to do it. Right. It's like whatever, $320 for the year. And it works with the Dr. Hawkins scale of consciousness, of vibration and frequency. And you put your coordinates or your address into their system. And then they are able to raise the vibration of those coordinates to the level of unconditional love. I think that's what they raise it to, love or unconditional love. So I've done it for the past 2 years. And what I notice is that when people come into my house, they feel like they're in a sanctuary. They comment all the time. I don't think it's just the Feng Shui, but just like, oh my God, you live in a spa. Because the energy is just so smooth and so supportive. So yeah, so those are just a couple of tools that I use to
mitigate. About it, isn't it? There is certainly something about it.
I mean, it's worth it to me. That I think it's, when you do it, you have, you get the FLFE, you get this energy for the year over your home, and you also get another place to put it. So I put it like on my parents' home, or anyone who's like, yeah, it's really interesting. So you can check it out. You can go and look on their website and check it out.
Oh, that's brilliant. Thank you so much. So if people want to come and check you out, where do they have to go?
LauraVida.com. That's it. They can also find me on Instagram at interior.alchemist.
Right.
Clubhouse, my Facebook group, High Vibe Home. Yeah, I have a lot of different, a lot of different ways.
Actually, on Facebook, I think I've just went on there and then asked to join you to join.
Oh, good. Great, awesome, great, good.
So much information as well. You have a Facebook group, but you have like a mastermind group, or do you have a program as well?
Right. It's okay. So yes, I do. So I have a couple of ebooks that one is really just to show you how to use the map with a video. So it's a video teaching in an ebook. And then the other one is more of, it's like having a consultation with me, even though I'm not there. So it really takes you through all of the steps. It's a fillable kind of a workbook. It takes you through all the steps of identifying what's most important for you in your life right now, how to remove those limiting beliefs we were talking about, and then how to anchor it in your space. So I wanted to give people those tools while I was building the class, but then I got, I really have to finish my book. So I pulled back from the class, right? Because you just start getting like all of these things that you want to do, because the book is really important and I have to finish that. So I'm close. When
do you reckon you'll be finished?
I hope by fall it'll be ready. Yeah. It's my focus this summer really, is to get.
Right. So we'll put it in the diary and we'll make you accountable by fall, you said, right?
Yes. I will be
come back to you
by the fall.
Yes, we'll be sharing it as well. And, if whenever you launch it and we can make it #1 or something on Amazon, we can add that to your fame and reputation.
Right, exactly. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, awesome.
Oh, brilliant. Well, thank you so much. It was just really amazing speaking to you and getting to know you and really kind of bringing that energy force within the business. So it's not just about moving the physical, but it really is about aligning that energy that we have within with everything else around us, isn't it?
Exactly.
Brilliant,
Yes.
brilliant.
That's the secret.
Well, thank
Yes.
you very much, Laura, and we'll speak to you very soon.
Sure.
Bye for now.
Thank you. Okay. Bye.